spinning on the Belaya used to be, for many, many years, really simple. You just threw the spiker into the water, reeled it in slowly, and bam, you had caught the brown trout or the grayling or the chub here. Meanwhile, the whole thing has become clearly more difficult. But what actually works really well, I will show you in this video. Yes, by now, it's already slowly getting dark. And I am testing right here what I did last Friday. Last Friday, of course, like every Friday, was the fishing competition here at the Belaya. So, every Friday, we do a spinning competition here at the Belaya in the live stream on Twitch. And then this Friday, I also tested some other lures more intensively, namely the spinnerbait lures. That is what it looks like right now. 16 minutes. I am testing one spinnerbait after another, and with these lures, I also made really much silver last Friday, just by spinning, and not even with the best running lure. I just continued consistently, because I simply kept testing different lures again and again. Still, with the spinnerbaits, with different colors, it was really successful, and you can actually make really good cash with these new spinnerbaits here on the Belaya. Yes, look, this time here a small asp joined in. But there are also quite a lot of other things mixed in. You can see it right here, more or less, right? So I just started with this spinnerbait series, which I will also show piece by piece, and I just tested one color after another. And it went off directly here with asp, with ID, and then also with another color. Brown trout and grayling are included. So quite a lot can join in. And the nice thing is, you can just simply reel in evenly here. You do not have to, like with spoons, go into jigging, do stop and go or something, but you can just reel in evenly here. I am now here with the classic Belaya setup. I will also show that again in a moment. The best setup that you can buy yourself on low level and which you can then still use up until the Yama. So a top price performance spinning setup that can be used really well for a long time. Still, we have to keep in mind a few things here on the Belaya. Very important, we are fishing here on an extremely clear water. That means again, of course, we use fluorocarbon. And ideally, we use a fluorocarbon with a breaking strength between 5 and maybe 7 kilograms. If we go in too heavy, so again, use too thick fluorocarbon, then the bite rate goes significantly down again. And bam, it continues. Yes, and the huge advantage when using spinnerbaits is you can simply use them like spinners. And that means if you have skilled spinners, which is of course useful, then you also have skilled the spinnerbaits at the same time. And that way you can catch more and more big fish. That means in spin fishing, it is definitely worth it to have skilled the reel so that you can cast further. Additionally, it is worth investing the skill points into the spinning rod, and of course here into the spinners. That way we simultaneously also improve the handling of the spinnerbaits, and through that, we then have an increased chance to catch trophies, which of course all lures have in common. We always need to test in spinning which color is currently relevant, which size or which shape is currently desired by the fish, and at which depth the fish are holding. And accordingly, we of course also adjust the speed. That means if we reel quickly, the lure goes more upwards to the surface, and if we reel slowly, it is more downwards. And then of course we have to pay attention again to how the temperatures are currently at the water, or what time of day we have. This here is the mentioned series that I'm using right now, namely the Colorado Series Brilliance Colorado 1/4 ounce. So this here is relevant because here we have 7 grams and are only 4 centimeters small. That is very important because especially here at the Belaya, we want to fish with the smallest lures possible. And the huge advantage is if we use our Belaya setup here, then we can cast really nicely far with these casting weights or with the minimum casting weight in a 7-gram lure. And we can reel in longer and then have an increased chance to catch more fish. This is what the setup looks like right now. So here I am currently using the Siberia Linea S 68 ml. That is super essential. There are always some experts who think, I will buy the somewhat better rod. It is not better because we need this casting weight, 3 grams up to 15 grams casting weight. When fishing at the Belaya, it does not matter that we have fantastic high breaking strength. 11 kilograms we will not even max out anyway. The casting weight, on the other hand, is super essential because with it we have the possibility to cast really nicely small lures very far. And in combination with the Reel Siberia Dragon 30S, we have a really strong setup. And the drag power of the reel is also absolutely sufficient because we are anyway fishing only with a leader between 5 and 7 kilograms, since that is ideal for the fish here on the Belaya. That means for you, we use here once again a main line. Here you can use a braided line, for example, between 8 and 10 kilograms. Just make sure that you have enough line capacity on the reel. I now have here the Simon Extra Silk as braided line with even 10 kilograms breaking strength. That means again, even if the line keeps wearing down over time, I still always have enough breaking strength on the line. Because the more wear on the line or on everything that has breaking strength, the same amount the wear percentage goes down, the same amount we must reduce the breaking strength. That means here in our case, we have, for example, 1.7% wear on the 10.2 kilogram line. That means we still have about 10 kilograms breaking strength. And here with the leader material, we already have 3.2% wear. That means the breaking strength of the leader is no longer 6.9 kilograms, but only about 6.6 kilograms breaking strength. That means for you, the main line we can now use until it maybe has only 6 or 7 kilograms breaking strength left, and then you can eventually replace it. So if you are starting here at the Belaya and feel like spinning, then at some point you treat yourself to this setup. The whole setup costs not even 1,000 silver. The rod, the reel, plus the line. So altogether you should even be below 900 silver, and you can still use this setup far beyond level 30. I also keep using this setup again and again. There are hardly any setups that are so good, so cheap, and have such good casting weight and breaking strength. Additionally, you then best buy the complete series of these Colorado lures. So the Brilliance Colorado, 1/4 ounce, color number 1, up to color number 6. And with that, you then have the possibility to test one color after another, because depending on weather, depending on temperature, and depending on the mood of the fish, the colors keep changing. And then just cast out again and reel in evenly. And then, like I said earlier, it means testing again, depending on speed and depending on weather. Bam, it starts immediately again. Then you of course have to test what works best. For me, a speed of about 25 up to 27 works really well, because then you also see down at the action bar that it flickers and moves strongly. And that means that the spinnerbait is spinning really nicely, and that is of course what we want to achieve. Although that changes every time again, depending on where we cast, because here we have a current. Now you can see the flickering. So I will hold it in front of the dark background. Here below the action bar flickers. And when the spinnerbait turns more into the current, then I must of course also change the speed at some point. Maybe go down a bit now, bam, now it flickers more again, and immediately the strike came. So that is always again a pretty good hint whether you have chosen a suitable speed for the lure being used. Is it super essential? Not necessarily. It can also work really well without this flickering. Still, it is always a pretty good hint. Yes, so much about spinning on the Belaya with the new Colorado spinnerbaits. So get to the water here and test, test, test. As I said, I was extremely satisfied in the last Friday competition. That worked super well. You still have the classic spots, starting up here by the stone or down here at the stone. There are numerous spots for that. Also on the YouTube channel, you will of course find an extra video about fishing on the Belaya or the top spots on the Belaya. Just have a look. The spots are still current. Even if the water has changed visually in parts, it is still worth looking for the fish at the same spots. If this has helped you, leave a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. That helps me a lot. And then we will see each other in the next video. Until then, tight lines.